It's actually gray, but you get the point. Hello, I'm JD, and today we're going to be reviewing one of my favorite movies of all time. It's a massive classic filled with brilliant writing, well-developed characters, an intriguing storyline. It's like everything you could ever want in a movie. And it stars Peter Fonda, Alec Baldwin, Mara Wilson, and Thomas the Tank Engine. This is Thomas and the Magic Railroad. This movie is really strange, and strange movies attract a lot of strange people, but we'll get to that in a second. We're going to talk about what goes on in one of the best films ever made and question why the people who made it decided to do what they did. So we start out and stuff happens and we meet Thomas, and he's voiced by some strange person and it's kind of creepy. Hello! And then we meet the main baddie of the film, Diesel 10. And then a few minutes later we cut to the real world and sing a song about the Shining Time station.
This is your shining time.
So people must be wondering at this point, is this a musical? No, it is not a musical. There are like 3 songs in this movie and they're all woven in just as nicely as something that's not woven in nicely. And then we meet the human characters. There's Alec Baldwin, who plays a small, narcissistic, wimpy man who always talks about being the center of the universe and he's super important and everyone depends on him, and without him the world's gonna fall apart. And the only good thing he does is save this lady in this one scene from hitting her head on a flower pot thing. And then there's Peter Fonda, who's gone on to star in such classic films like Ghost Rider, starring Nicolas Cage, and nothing else. He plays a guy who's in charge of a purple choo-choo, and he mopes around all the time. Fun fact, they actually had to rewrite the script after Peter Fonda was stricken with depression after realizing that he was starring in a Thomas the Train movie, and subsequently acted like he lived in a world where he was starring in a movie which also starred Thomas the Train. So he's in charge of this magic purple choo-choo, and he's in charge of bringing it back to life, and other things. There's a helicopter going around outside. And he spent his life work to get it put back together after it crashed. Even though that the numerous times we see the train in the movie, there's like no evidence that he crashed it, like it looks completely normal. So that means that he must have done like a really good job fixing it, or they were just lazy and they didn't want to show the train being like all crashed and beat up. Also, how does a kid get to be the sole person in charge of a rundown, magical, super important train? Like, the train is super important because it's magical. How is the kid responsible for the train? And apparently this train not working also has something to do with Alec Baldwin's main conflict in the movie, which is that he has run out of like magic dust, so he can't like blow his whistle and transport anywhere. But before he runs out of magic, he goes to Thomas Land and tells Thomas things, but as the train moves away, his voice gets like louder, like he's talking to someone who's moving farther and farther away, except that he's talking to Thomas while he's riding on Thomas, speaking at like the same distance, so he's yelling for no reason.
Don't worry, Thomas. I'll just pop in and out with my sparkle wherever he goes and keep him in order. I hope. Don't worry, Thomas. I hope.
It's really, really confusing. There we meet Mara Wilson's character, who is Peter Fonda's granddaughter, and Alec Baldwin eloquently narrates her introduction.
This is where Burnett's granddaughter, Lily, comes into our story. She lives with her mom and dad in the big city, a few hours train ride from Shining Time. She sees magic no one else has time to, like lovely reflections of light on a rainy day. Soon, she was off to stay with her grandpa on Muffle Mountain.
Grandpa's been so sad since Grandma Tasha died, and he
Wait, why'd you stop the exposition? I need to know that she's walking in the rain to somewhere that she lives with her mother. And then some other stuff happens, and then there's this scene which There's convenient construction going on, so you can actually see Diesel 10 pull up and terrorize the trains. So this scene just made me think about how this movie could actually be like some weird dark allegory to how Alec Baldwin's character is suffering from like drug addiction or something, because he spends this whole part of the movie like running out of this substance that allows him to transport to like ridiculous places. I mean, like, it could be going on in his head for all we know. Like, maybe he has hallucinations of magic talking trains and talking to a ball and a bat like they're humans.
I'd like to have a nice cup of hot cocoa. Would you fellas care to join me? No? What would you rather do instead? Go outside and play? Well, I can understand that. What do you think? Why do you keep hitting him like that? You're gonna have to have a timeout.
And then there's also talking tumbleweeds.
Follow me, partner. Woo! Right this way to Bufferville. Just a walk in the park.
Oh my god.
You're gonna have to have a timeout.
And then Diesel 10 leaves after Alec Baldwin threatens to put sugar in his fuel tank, which I did not know until I wrote this review, that if you put sugar in a fuel tank, it's bad because the fuel does not dissolve the sugar, and the sugar will have like some weird effect on the engine, but I never really like paused to consider that. I don't think like 5-year-olds or 3-year-olds or whoever's supposed to watch this movie, do you think they really considered that? I know I didn't. But still, if he were to attempt to pour the sugar into the tank, he wouldn't be able to because there's like a giant claw on the top of the train. It's like this. Like, have you ever had one of those the grabber handle ones, and you open and close the handle, and then it has like this claw at the end? I used to pretend like I was the Diesel 10 when I was little with those little grabber claw things, and I would, like grab people, and they would be like dead. And then he goes to sleep, where he dreams about not being able to transport to different places and the effects that would have on those places that he usually visits, like the Shining Time Station and the Thomas Land. So they show like a little dream sequence of the front desk lady. She's like standing in the middle of this like apocalyptic wasteland, wondering, where's Alec Baldwin, to save all the people from hitting their heads on those planter basket things, because that's the only thing he really does around there. Like, no one else can use the Force to save some person from being stupid and walking backwards into a plant. Is he even really that important? Then some other stuff happens, and then Matilda is told by a dog which train to get on. Like, it's a dog, because dogs know exactly everything, and they know exactly where you need to go and where you need to be, because it's too much work to just like look up and go, oh, that's the track I need to be on.
I don't suppose you know where track 3 is, do you? But why not? I hope you're right.
And then, of course, there's another song for some reason.
I know how the moon must feel.
And then this random scene happens for some reason, which just adds to my theory that Alec Baldwin's character is on something.
I notice you left your thinking cap behind. Try these instead. They're good for the brain. Gone fishing rabbit.
Well, well, well. How very thoughtful.
Plane. Drain.
Mountain? Fountain?
Sausage. Bicycle. Toothpaste. Beach.
He calls his cousin, who's sleeping on the beach with a whistle in his mouth, like most people do.
Thinking of swimming on a Sunday. The lady my fed
Wasting gold dust. And then more stuff happens, and then something really confusing happens. So Matilda meets the guy that we met on the beach with the whistle in his mouth. He's standing like in front of the spot where Alec Baldwin was earlier in the movie, and he has like a skateboard and stuff, but he like kind of goes off screen in the gold dust transition thing, except he doesn't blow on his whistle thing. Which is really weird, because every other time that gold dust is used in this movie, they blow on the whistle, and it takes them away, instead of just like, you know, magically just leaving or appearing just out of nowhere, you know?
That's not how the Force works.
And then there's another song. There's this weird scene where this red train hints at like being involved in some sketchy situations. Like, just listen to this.
But Mr. C. Red looks so nice against the snow.
Yes, it does, if you're in a Quentin Tarantino movie. And then my favorite scene in the whole movie happens, and it terrified me when I was little.
Hello, Twinkle Toes. Remember me? Fat Hat won't have much use for you looking like that. Oh, I see you forgot to bring the sugar. How careless of you. Say hello to Pinchy.
And following the common trend, it makes no sense.
Now tell me where the buffers are. Now!
Like, where did these clippers come from? And why is Alec Baldwin flipping off the camera? And then he escapes and doesn't die for some reason, even though he probably would die, but this is a kid's movie, so you can't show people dying.
This must be the clue to unlock the source of the gold dust. Stoke up the magic in the mountain and the lady will smile. Then watch the swirls that spin so well.
It doesn't even rhyme. What the heck?
Hello, Lily.
Hello.
Junior? Junior?
Junior?
Junior, what are you doing up there?
I'm trying to move the plot along.
Twinkle Toes Jr.
The guy totally lands on the back of Diesel 10, out of his field of view, and somehow Diesel 10 knows exactly who it is. And then this terrifying scene happens, which proves like bumpers are useless. Like, the train is literally like backing up into the bumper and it's like breaking off.
So you've lost your sparkle too, huh? Bye-bye, Twinkle Toes.
Junior, what are we gonna do?
We'll think of something.
I'll find you some more, Lily. I promise. If I'm going to be any help at all, it's now or never. I've got to use up the rest of this stuff.
What is the point of the bumpers? Then more crazy stuff happens, like this. And this. Whoa, wait, where did that portal come from? And then more confusing stuff happens, like...
Patch, there's a coal truck up at the top of the mountain. Do you think you could get some?
Of course I will.
Wait, how did he get that much coal? It's like on the top of a mountain. Oh yeah, and there's also some random coal cart thing that's super special, and it brings back to life the stupid train that Peter Fonda is moping about, you know? And then more stuff happens, and then Alec Baldwin finally realizes he's been in a Thomas the Train movie. And then, maybe one of the greatest chase scenes in cinematic history happens next.
I like my lunch steamed.
What are you doing?
Puffball! T-Bot!
Like, if you look this up on YouTube, you will find, like, at least every listing being, like, a recreation of this. Like, chase scene recreation, I did it with Legos, I did it with animation software, I did it with clay. Because people who make YouTube videos about Thomas the Train clearly have no lives. Oh, wait. And then everything ends happily, you know how it goes. It's like they got the gold dust or whatever, I don't even care anymore. And then we hear like some normal music from the score of the movie. God. This is in a Thomas the Train movie. Now this movie is dearly beloved to many adults for some reason, and other people who are not the target audience for this movie. Like, if I asked someone who is my age or older than me who may have grown up watching this movie, like, hey, do you remember that Thomas the Train movie from 2000? No. Why would you even bring that up? Why do I even talk to you? But seriously though, there's a whole webpage dedicated to the production of this movie. Grown adults care about the production of the Thomas the Train movie. There's literally a button at the bottom of the page that takes you to a petition for people to release the unaltered director's cut version of this movie on Blu-ray. Like, people want to know what the director's intended vision was for this. Like, there's like hardcore Thomas the Train purists out there, and it's really, really bizarre. You know what? I think I've talked about this movie too much already. I think it's time to just end it here. Yeah, we're just gonna, bye.